welcome back. And welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Elk Lodge podcast. Just me and you again, Christine. Cheers.
Oh, cheers to you. I know, back to back, you and me.
A little spillage going on right off the gate.
Don't worry, it's fine. This table's been through a lot over the years.
Yeah, we almost didn't bring this table, which I don't know if I've ever told your dad that he was right.
He would love to hear those words.
Can you grab coasters actually back there? I feel like we're only making it worse here. But yeah, here we are. What is it, Friday?
It is.
About to head to the gala.
Yep, I got a work event here in a bit. Gotta go raise some funds. By the way, it's my credit card on file. If you want to sign up, we'll check you in. It's right at 6.
What do you mean, your credit card on file?
Like if we bid on stuff throughout the night.
Oh, wow.
Which I already put in one bid.
For
a skateboard that's signed by Eric Costin, which I thought JC would go crazy for.
Wow. Very thoughtful. Very cool.
We'll see. So anyways, I don't know if we should think of a cap, but there was only one other bid on it, so maybe we'll get lucky.
What'd you put on it?
$40, but it'll go up all night. It's just a starting bid.
Yeah, but maybe some parents will have no idea who Eric Costin is. But that's just a Google.
Know.
That's a quick Google away.
They know.
Okay, that's a very thoughtful gift, though. I've never done a silent auction or a loud auction either. I've been there, but I've never bid. It's kind of intimidating.
This one is intimidating. So one of the things that we'll do at the end of the night is like the raise a hand part of the night where you just sort of like the MC will be like, all right, if you want to raise $100, and then you put up your bid, and then we have to like go around and record them all. But it moves really fast, and then it'll be like $250, $500, $1,000, $5,000.
Last year you had a guy, like there's a dad at the school who like is a professional auction guy.
Yeah, last year that was.
And he does like, hey, hold on, number 3, number 5, number 5, going once, going twice, sold.
It's
that kind of guy. He's really good at it.
We are working with like another professional service and not a dad this year again.
Ooh,
but
dad's out.
Yeah.
Did you not like his performance last year?
Honestly, I'm not sure. I don't know. He just had a baby and a second kid.
So maybe
and
he doesn't want to do it.
Didn't want to do it, but I thought he did a great job.
I mean, it must be exhausting. It's quite a performance. Like, it takes a lot of focus, and you talk really fast, and like you're really like zoned in.
Oh yeah.
To be an auctioneer like that.
So on.
So what? You have to write down that they bid $100
just
even
write
if they
down
didn't
like the
win?
paddle numbers. So for most of the night, it's the prizes are like go to the highest bidder, but during that raise a hand portion, it's designed for donating without prizes. So nobody's winning. So
if
it's
just wants to throw money away. Now's your chance.
Those funds will be used to like renovate our art room. So it's like, there'll be a quick presentation or video of why you should support the art program at Walden. And then
does Ben, who has been on this show, does Ben do a little
I think he'll have a pre-recorded video, and actually he is part of a surprise song performance for the honoree.
Ooh.
Yeah, him and Kelly Dawn will be singing.
Wow.
I don't know.
What are they gonna sing? Do you know?
They rewrote. What's that song? I actually had to sing it once on stage, and it was mortifying. Not alone, of course. Jesus.
No.
Don't get any ideas. It was Paved Paradise and Put in a Parking Lot.
Joni Mitchell.
Song. Is that originally Joni Mitchell? Yeah. Who covered it again? Like
Counting Crows.
Yes.
Don't it all seem to go?
That's the way I hear it.
That's the more. You're right. That's the more of the hit. Paved Paradise.
But now I can hear it both ways. Yeah, I forgot that was Joni.
Yeah. It's a beautiful song.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they're going to sing that but change it up somehow.
Yeah.
Cool. Oh, also, it's Monday, which means our new music video for the Modern Mystics is out. Somebody Told Me About You. That's the name of the song. We shot this video a couple of years ago now.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
On my birthday, Christine took us to Lake Arrowhead. We've got an Airbnb, which Lake Arrowhead is like an hour and a half from LA. It's one of those places where it's like you're not far from LA, but you're in a totally different world kind of a thing. And beautiful town. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it was like rainy and was it snowy? No, just rainy.
It wasn't snowy. It was really cold
and rainy.
No, it was sunny. Well, one day, our last day, it rained.
Okay.
Which was dangerous. Going down the mountain was like so foggy and scary,
God,
which is
leaving.
A big part of the video.
The video
sort
opens
of that
with
drive.
that fog shot.
It's true. And we did play in the rain a little bit, but we had one nice night in the sun too for Oktoberfest. They have a big like German celebration up there every October. That was fun.
Yeah. And then we like, it was this cool A-frame house and we just kind of hung out, had some drinks, like, and filmed various shots. It was fun. What was your takeaway from the experience? You haven't done that many music videos.
No, I mean,
You've actually filmed quite a few at this point now, but this is one of the first ones that's coming out. The first one?
this is the first music
Well,
video.
A to
where-
B we have.
That's true, but you kind of snuck that one in. So A to B, you
Right.
never told me you had any intentions of filming
Right,
a
we
music
just went
video.
to the beach and I just said, I'll bring the camera, we'll film some stuff. And then I just cut that footage together to the song A to B, which
Yeah.
that's available on YouTube. You should check that out too. That's a beautiful song
It's a
of ours.
sleeper. That's nice.
Yeah, I love that song and that video. But yeah, how's it? Now you've shot what? Maybe 3, maybe 4?
I mean, I still feel like I'm getting settled, like comfortable in my skin, and like, you know, there's something super cringe about watching yourself perform anything, and so it's hard. There's a lot of like, I don't know, negative self-talk that comes up, but
Me too.
I also, you know, feel proud that we have like this cute little project that we made and cared about, and that our family can watch it, and whoever else wants to watch it, we appreciate it. It's nice to be able to share and like kind of open up a little. But yeah, it's super cringe. I'm like how on Botox, you know, you just see it, you think bad things, you think
Right.
rude things.
Sure, same.
And yeah, it's in that way, it's also kind of a gift because it shows me that I still have work to do to lighten up a little bit and show myself grace and be kind.
Be kind.
Be kind to
Rewind.
myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel the same cringe. Like, there's so many a music video I've edited where I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna cut that out because I just don't like the way I look in it. You know, it's like maybe no one else would even see what I'm seeing, but I hate it, and I'll just cut the shot.
Sure. Yeah. I think there's always going to be like some degree of that. And then I think, you know, also you're responsible for how you frame that in your mind, you know, but you can't like everything you do all the time, and we're only human.
Sure.
And like, you know, I don't think I'm so vain if I get like embarrassed because I have like a horrible double chin in a shot, or like, you know, the things that pop up. Like, you're also allowed to kind of want to put your best foot forward and not feel like you're going to cringe every time you see it. Like, it should be how you want it to be as much as possible. But yeah, some of that, like, yeah, I don't know. I'm learning a lot. I've learned a lot since that footage was shot, and I think I'm coming to terms with the fact that like it's okay to put in effort. You know, it's like kind of vulnerable. The less you try, it's like, hey, you know, it was this casual thing.
Right. We
you
just
know,
hung out and we just happened to film shit. We got drunk.
sure, but
Yeah.
when it's like an organized thing and you're like clearly performing, or it's performative,
Right.
it becomes even more. I feel more vulnerable to those feelings of like, oh God.
Sure. Trying. Like, I tried really hard
Yeah.
to make this good. Like, what do you think? And then it's like, if people don't like it, it does feel, it's more vulnerable.
Sure.
Definitely.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
easier to be like, we just, or like, I made this beat last night. Like, that's so much easier to show someone a beat I made
And, like,
last
a
night.
final product.
Than like, yeah, like, here, we've been working on this song for a long time. I think it's dope.
Yeah.
But music is actually, well, I was going to say it's not as hard for me to show music to people, but I don't show that much music to people, so I guess that's not true.
I don't know about that. I mean, you've been on kind of a roll releasing music, and
Yeah, it's true. I've been
we
trying
have
to.
listening parties when we have
We
company
did have a
over.
listening party. Yeah, that's
We
true.
did have
Which
a-
was very uncomfortable for me.
Ah,
Very like,
I feel you.
even though I loved the album, that was just uncomfortable. Like, all right, guys, like, welcome to my house. Look at me. Let's talk about me. I don't know. It feels very ego-y. It's kind of a fine line.
Yeah, I get it. It's, but I think it's natural to want to share your work with people you care about.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, people that care about us don't look at us like egomaniacs because we
No,
want to
no.
show them a finished project or something,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
But yeah, I get it. It is, I also feel weird
Mm-hmm.
with the attention, and yeah, it's not natural always, but I'm glad. I didn't have a near-death experience, but I get to ride the wave of yours in a lot of ways, where it's like you're hungry to create, and not just create, but like put stuff out, because what good does it do just always keeping those things to yourself? And so
leaving things behind.
So I don't know, I enjoy that process of like seeing a finished video that we made that didn't exist before, and it only existed because
we did it.
We cared enough to make it.
Yeah, it's fun. So anyway, go check that out. And if you haven't heard the Modern Mystics album yet, go check that out. And
it was a fun time to make it, and I hope you guys like it. But if you don't, that's okay.
Go fuck
too.
yourself.
Yeah, go kick rocks or whatever.
Fuck you. Well, yeah, like in Dave, we were watching Dave, and he's like, they're making that music video where it's about his childhood, and he's like, people need to see my sensitive side, you know, like, and like, saying it as if it's actually important. Whereas if I was saying, I would be like, it's important to me that people see my sensitive side. But to him, it's like, people need to see my sensitive side. Like saying it like it's actually important. And like Steve will do that too, where he's like, no, like we need to whatever, staple my balls to my leg. Like this is
people
this
need
is
it.
Super important.
Yeah.
Like, or like, I need you to come over here because we have to fix this edit. Like we need to, like, and like for me, I don't know. It's hard. Like I can't trick myself that it's actually like important. It feels weird. Like it's not important. It's important to me that people hear my music. It's important to me that people watch this podcast. But is it actually important?
I mean, no.
But to some people, it's like, it's important that people hear this. We have to spread the word. It probably helps you be more successful at it when you feel like it's actually important. But I don't know. I can't pretend that it actually matters.
I mean, we're not saving lives here.
We're not doing anything.
This isn't Grey's Anatomy. It's just, I mean, it's not like we're essential to people. But, in some ways, maybe we are. Like, you open your mouth, the world gets smaller. That's what I just heard on the Jewish matchmaking show, and it seems awesome, okay?
What? You open your mouth?
It was like one piece of advice that a Jewish mother or Jewish matchmaker gave to like her apprentice or something, right? So like you can't get what you don't, like basically you can't get what you don't ask for. So a matchmaker's job is to always open her mouth and spread the intentions of so-and-so's looking for a connection or a partner, and all of a sudden the world gets smaller. It's kind of like this, we put out music and maybe, it resonates with somebody and our little world gets smaller and there's a connection made, and that's cool. So I don't know. It's not like an essential service, but maybe in some ways.
Yeah.
We're needed somewhere.
There you go.
Da-da-da.
You're welcome. I hate that show, by the way. That Jewish.
Which one? Matchmaking.
Matchmaking
You hated
show.
it. What was so offensive?
Just like the religious xenophobia involved in it. Like, oh, I gotta find a guy or a girl who's like the same religion as me. I don't like that. It feels weird. It's like that should not be the qualification for who you fall in love with. It's like me being like, I want another white Christian girl. I'm just looking for a white Christian girl. Like, it's weird. Or like when people are like, oh, I just want to
I mean, I guess,
date someone
but
who looks like me.
I
or
understand
like
that
thinks
sentiment,
like me.
but if you are culturally and emotionally and ideologically,
Yeah.
that's the word. If you have like a bunch of deal breakers related to your religion, I think it makes sense that that's the place you would look for a partner.
But to me, you're like a foolish person to be thinking that way. That like, oh, this person, I can't fall in love with someone who doesn't have the same religious beliefs as me. I think that's ridiculous. So I don't
it's
like
not
the
just
show
the way
that
you
it's
believe,
like no
it's
one's
the way
acknowledging how crazy this is.
I don't know. It's like not just what they believe, though. It dictates their entire life. Like some of those people go to synagogue every day. They, keep kosher. They practice Shabbat. Like they do things that impact their lives. They have much deeper values than you and I. It's not just like, oh, we're Christian and I have to find a Christian. We don't, and we just culturally celebrate some holidays.
But even if I was going to church every Sunday and I really was pure, like a more dead, like an actual Christian, saying like, I got to find a Christian wife. It's weird to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I understand it's people's values, but I think those are foolish values. Like
So you just ultimately think that, in a house, like you could raise a kid with two religions or...
two religions, yeah, or like the religious dogma in general is kind of silly, but like I'm not knocking anybody for like having their religion and believing in it, but then to close it off to like we better not let other ideas in here.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I get it.
I don't like it, and I just don't like that nobody on the show is saying like, guys, this is pretty stupid, right? Like
It is a bit
everyone's acting like
interesting.
this is like this is actually important. It's not.
It is an intriguing point you bring up because a lot of them were like, I need a Ashkenazi Jew, or like, they wanted it to be even like regional based, or like, so
Which is like
be like, I won't
xenophobia,
date
isn't
somebody
it?
if they're not Israeli. Like that was coming up a lot. So I get it. I hear it. You would think maybe the Jewish people of all the people would find that problematic for
No,
being...
the Jews, they keep it Jewish.
Well,
like,
I know.
find a nice Jewish
yeah.
girl to settle down with. That's kind of a classic trope, And
Yeah.
I think it's a little like, okay, in some ways I get it. Like, obviously we grew up together, so that's a huge up. Or like even just meeting someone from Chicago or meeting someone from the north suburbs of Chicago. Like, oh, okay, I feel a little more connected to this person, boy
Like
or girl.
comfortable, maybe.
Like, we come from the same background. We kind of, but
There's a lot that goes like unspoken in that, which I think people,
Yeah, and
it's
it's-
natural to want
Yes.
a little bit of that.
so I understand it. But to like target it and specifically like avoid anything outside of it
Bit problematic.
is just not healthy for you. It's not good for anybody. Like, spread it out. I don't know. I don't like it.
What stood out more for me is like, geez, like how much these people are just like obsessed with marriage in general. And I don't know, the weight put on marriage. We've talked about this before. It's just so intense. Like, these people's like dying wish to see their kid, like their child married off. It's like, really? Wow. Okay. It's a strong reaction.
Well, why do you think we want to get married? Is it societal pressure? Or is there something like naturally in us that's like, I want to find the one person? Like, is monogamy natural? Or are we just
You're sweet. I like you. That's all.
succumbing to society?
I don't know.
I mean, there is like built in just
Commitment.
societal benefits, taxes and whatnot, medical things, But like if you're pregnant and then like something happens, like, and we're not married, like I'd have less rights, or it has to be written on paper, like what my rights are, versus if we're married, like it's, I get family rights. So there are things like that in society that like you just benefit. But yeah, like just the desire to be married is our desire.
I don't know. Let's talk. Well, you asked me, why do you want to get married?
Because I want to be with you forever, and I want to get old with you, and so the commitment is just like saying this is my wife and we're married, like that.
So saying,
sums
you
it
bring
up.
that up a lot. You say that a lot. You say, I'm tired of calling you my fiance. I want to call you my wife.
Yeah,
And it's like, yeah, I don't know. It's interesting.
right. That's
So
societal. That's
you
my
want-
feeling. Like it feels more official to say my wife. It's just a better word too. Fiance feels pretentious to me.
I agree. I've never cared for that. It does feel pretentious.
No, but I asked you to marry me because I want to be with you forever. Mm-hmm. And I want you to know that I'm serious as fuck about it.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. If you want to get divorced or if we want to get divorced, that'll probably happen. Like marriages end all the time, So why I couldn't just say, hey, I want to be with you forever and us not get married, I don't know. Like, I mean, society, tradition, culture, like it's a real thing. Mm-hmm. And like marriage is a big part of the culture that we live in. Much of the culture of the world, cultures, have marriage and monogamous marriage. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, yeah, I don't know.
You're like, okay, who's watching? As always, this show is brought to you by Hexa Coffee. Christine, tell the good people about.
Can't forget about our buddies at Hexa Coffee, the Chicago-based coffee roasting company we love so much. You've heard the spiel. They roast their beans in whiskey barrels and get this incredible depth of flavor that is so good. We love it iced and cold, although this time of year we need it hot.
We're going hot,
It's rainy.
baby.
It's been rainy in LA, so we're serving it hot. But check them out. Visit them online at hexacoffee.com. You can check out using promo code ELK and get 10% off your total purchase. Try a little bit of everything. And if you're in Chicago, don't be a fool. Just get over there. They've got events, pastries, wine and alcohol on tap. Like things are good over there. Real good.
Hell yeah. Don't be a fucking idiot. Get over there. All right, anyway. Maybe Rose and Warner are watching. Maybe my parents and my family's watching. What are they going to think?
I mean, it's a nice romantic gesture, and it is a good symbolic representation of your love and commitment in a relationship, which I'm happy to do and show. But like, I have had a hard time with a lot of the traditional like things around weddings, and I have kind of been rejecting a lot of that, if you haven't noticed.
No, same. I mean,
yeah. I don't know. It is a lot of
bare bones.
that showman, like that showy piece of like, which is so ironic to talk about on our podcast. I don't want that many people paying attention to me.
Yeah. This is a private conversation, everybody. So please,
Most intimate details
don't
ever.
be rude.
Just going out in the world.
Please mind your business.
I recognize that I might be a hypocrite about some things, but I am a little, I don't know. It is a little uncomfortable to like put so much show and attention around us and that. And I don't know. There's a big part of me that recognizes how nice it is to share with your family and your friends, get everybody together. I see that, but I also feel like it's kind of like a really intimate moment that I'm more happy to like share between you and I, who are entering this spiritual, legal, emotional binding agreement into. Like, it really isn't about anybody else other than us. And ultimately, that's kind of the only thing that seems to matter to me about it.
But
I mean,
in the same breath, like family matters to both of us.
Of course.
And
but like and
our
families
family's getting to know each other and like feeling like sort of one unit to us and like to our children is of value.
Of course it is. And it was awesome last summer, like having, Kelly and her kids come up and like hang out with the family and like meet cousins and,
hang out with my family.
Yeah, meet your parents, meet your cousins. All that was so fun. I love like, colliding the worlds is so nice. Mm-hmm. But I don't know that needs to be like one day where we spend thousands of dollars to,
sure,
to do that.
Well, yeah, there's that wedding industrial complex.
Right.
Trying to drain us of our funds.
And then another unpopular choice I've made. Increasingly popular choice. But I decided I wasn't ready to change my name.
Correct.
So that I'm like kind of on eggshells about, just sort of waiting for any fallback that might come from
Well, we'll
that
see in the comments if my parents chime in here.
know.
Now's maybe a good time. Maybe I should call them later, give them a heads up.
I'm going to have to spill the news sometime.
Yeah, you want to keep your name. You're Christine Donnelly. Like, you don't want to be anything but Christine Donnelly. I don't want to change my name. Like, it'd be easier for me to say, like, well, what's the big deal? It's just the last name. It's like, all right, well, then change your last name to Donnelly. It's like, fuck no. I don't want to do that. I'm Paul Brisky. I like that.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, on one hand, I totally understand why it would be like an honor and a privilege and like a beautiful gesture to join you in yours. But at the same time, I just feel like it's a little bit dated and a little bit not what I want. Like, I felt like a very sad response happening in my body when I thought of like giving up my name. And
mm-hmm. Yeah, we were filling out the marriage certificate, and they're like, "And what name will these? Would anybody? Now's the time to change your name. If anyone's going to be changing their names." And we were like, "Oh, we did not realize that was today. We were going to have to make that choice."
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, you can always change it later, and if you change it and you want to change it back, you can always change it back. It's like
yeah.
what's in a name? But yeah, I mean,
What's in a name is a lot, you know. It's your whole identity. It's how you view yourself. It's your ties to your family.
I don't want to change my name either.
know?
I get it.
But you know, I've been reading a little bit more about like why women choose to not change their name, and it does feel good to know that there are other people out there that are like, hey, you know, I don't understand why I need to be like, I'm marrying my husband, we're partners, or my wife, we're partners, we're not, you know, I'm not like a possession that is yours to acquire, you know.
Sure.
And I like the idea of keeping some autonomy. I want my life to include being a mother and a wife. I don't want my whole identity to be your wife or somebody's mother. Like I'm a whole person.
Well,
without
still,
those things, and inside of those things, I'm still
yes,
a person.
I agree. I agree with you. I think we do become each other's. I mean, you don't own me and I don't own you.
Yeah.
But I'm your husband. You're my wife
Sure.
when we're married, and
Yep,
we will
sure.
be our children's parents. And, you know, like there is sort of, it's not possession. It's just like my friend or my.
No, it literally
whatever.
was possession.
I know that it was.
Yeah.
I'm saying what it is.
Yeah.
At this point, yeah, it just feels like, I don't know what it is. But then what happens with children's names? Like this is where is the kid's name hyphenated? Is the kid's name, do I get a Brisky, you get a Donnelly? We'll
I
trade.
mean, they could have both last names, or we could
Or do we just spare them?
go traditional and give them your last name. I just think it's important. Like women shouldn't, I don't know. I've experienced what it was like to be lost in a relationship without kids and without, you know, added pressure of like a legal binding agreement, right? And yeah, I don't want that. And I feel like it's important to kind of know who you are and have some autonomy and
Yeah.
a little bit of separation with, I don't know, just a little bit of me still.
I agree. Like I told you, I love
I'm
Christine
just-
Donnelly.
I know
I've been
you
in love
do.
with Christine Donnelly my whole life. I don't want you to change your name. It would be like quite a gesture if you chose to, but it would be a gesture if I chose to change my name to Donnelly. I mean, it's like, I don't know.
But there's no expectation for you to do that. And I think
Correct.
that's part of what bothers me so much is all of the expectations that there are for women to just do that. Like that inherent, I don't know. I have a hard time, like, you know, I still want to be a good girl and like, you know, do what I'm supposed to do and be the perfect, not perfect, but like, you know, be everything you deserve. And there's still a nagging voice that I'm doing something that I should not be doing, that I'm drawing a line in the sand for something that, is that right?
You're drawing a line in the sand. Yes, that is correct.
You gave me a
nailed
look.
that
I
one.
thought I
No,
lost
it's just-
another one.
I was trying to think of something else.
But yeah, I don't know.
I mean, there's societal pressures. Like
sure.
where my brain went is like, there's societal pressures that the man is dealing with too. You know, like if a man can't provide for his family, whether society today logically believes, you know, I mean, that's not a big deal. It's not like only the man needs to provide, but deep inside that man is probably a bad feeling. Like, fuck, I'm supposed to be providing for my family. Like this is what I've been raised to do and to be. Like,
It's a lot of pressure.
there's pressure to be a man, there's pressure to be a woman, and some of it we keep, some of it we can't get rid of, and some of it we can just ignore. And you stay Christine Donnelly and I stay Paul Brisky. It's easy.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's an
Great.
easy
I know.
one.
I'm grateful for you that you are comfortable with your manhood and you don't feel threatened by my choice.
Yeah, not at all. Not
Mighty
at all.
man. That's my mighty man.
I will definitely give my parents a heads up because there's been some news that they've learned on the podcast where it's like, you didn't tell us. We just had to learn it watching the podcast.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, so
You heard it
give
here
them.
first.
I'll give them a heads
Yeah,
up.
no, that'd be good. We should tell
But
them.
I mean, they're not
Please.
gonna be mad.
I don't know.
I mean,
I hope not. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't, you know, my whole personality, I don't really like to be like high maintenance in air quotes, listeners. You know, I kind of identify with being like a more easygoing person than that.
But I'm easygoing too. So when you say,
but it's just interesting that I'm, like, I guess you just don't know what you're going to have a strong response to. And that was like a triggering moment for me.
There was a visceral reaction to being
really
about
sad.
to change it. And you didn't want to do it. So don't do it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate you.
Yeah. I support you.
I know.
And we'll flip a coin for our kids' names. I don't know what to do with them.
I mean, that's the only reason I could possibly marry you. It's because you're not possibly. We're getting married. Sorry. Let me correct that. We're getting married.
It's the only reason this might still happen.
I didn't mean it like that.
I didn't even hear it that way till you said it.
I really, for a long part of my life, did not think I would actually end up getting married. And
Me neither.
kind of always knew I wanted to be a mom. And the marriage part was sort of like just harder to picture, I guess, harder to imagine and see myself doing that. So
Sure. Me too.
but it's like, I've also never been in a relationship where I was probably, free to actually be myself and fully accepted and celebrated for that. And like, I definitely have a ton of faith that no matter what happens, like we can both grow inside of our relationship and still be loved and respected. And yeah, that's a different experience. I just always felt like things were so conditional in the past with a lot of relationships. And so that's how I know we're good to go.
Yeah. Is that our vows?
Yeah, that's my vows.
So now I know we are good to go. The ring, sir. Well, yeah, I agree. I mean, my whole life, I never saw the reason to get married. It was like, you're together. You'll break up if you want to break up. You'll stay together if you want to stay together. Getting married, you're just making it harder if you do want to break up. But people still do it. People get divorced all the time. So I don't know. But I think maybe that deterrent does play some benefit where like, if it's so easy to leave somebody, maybe you would do it more like impulsively.
That happens to not be how I am personally. Every relationship I've had, that I wanted to be out of, I really dragged my feet. I really dragged my feet.
Marriage or not.
For me, I was always I really wanted to like leave no stone unturned, so to speak. Like just really make sure I had tried everything and like given it my all. That that was really hard for me. So I don't know. But yeah, I get it. My dad always mentions that like you shouldn't have a committed relationship and partnership that you can just leave from, like that binding
even though you
tie is good.
But the binding tie, like maybe, and I'm just thinking out loud. But like you maybe we'll have like a rough year in 20 years. A rough year. We're just not getting along the whole year.
Perhaps.
And like maybe it'd be easy to just but married or not, I'm just thinking like, okay, you get through the rough year and then 20 years later, it's like, it's the best. And we got grandkids and like, we're so glad we didn't give up in that hard year. But you can have that same foresight whether you're married or not. So it's really just kind of a cultural sign of commitment, which I'm
happy to
committed
take,
culturally or not,
Yeah, and I mean,
and like
to
it
us,
is
to
society.
each other, to kind of, make that clear. I think that's good.
And the reason like it would feel good to say like, oh, my wife, is like a society thing, but it doesn't matter. It still feels good to say, yeah, I got the old wife back home. I got to check with my wife. I got to get my wife loves these flowers. I'm gonna get these flowers for my wife.
There you go.
Like it feels good.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like cleaning the garage. Just feels right. Well, anyway. Did we do the last podcast before Tucson or after? Before.
I think before.
We had a recent trip to Tucson. It was quite fun.
Yeah, I was so pleased with that. I feel like you fell in love with Tucson in a deeper way when we were there.
I liked it because we brought our homie Jordan Lipschitz, shout out, with us. So it's like, I felt more like the host than the guest. Mm-hmm. I've been to Tucson a number of times. I never lived there, but so I felt more like the host than the guest. And like, as being the guest, Tucson never disappointed me. But as the host, like, it didn't disappoint me either. Like, I confidently was like, we didn't disappoint Jordan. We were like, you're gonna have a good time. And we went here, and there was like fucking delicious food and good drinks, and we just walked up a block to Congress, and there was this killer fucking live band outdoor venue, and then we walked to some jazz bar and got like, well, I got some great drinks, and we listened to some incredible live jazz, like, and hanging with Emily was killer, and hanging with Hans was killer. Like, it delivered. Yeah. And so like, it kind of like Tucson let me know, like, it doesn't let you down, you know?
No, it's amazing. I think it was definitely like a perfect slice of time. That little weekend was so nice. And there's always like something in the air for me about Tucson. Mm-hmm. And I was glad that you kind of verbalized that same fondness for it. It's just like a really magical place. And I think, yeah, we got to enjoy it, and it's hard to show up to a place that's been hyped up that much and still be able to deliver. I've been talking up that place to Jordan and everybody I know for quite a long time. So, yeah, the fact that we could go and just, God, we had so many good meals, just incredible, and hiking to see petroglyphs and sunsets and time outside before it's all hot, and all the cactus flowers were blooming. I mean, it's quite a nice time of year to visit. We had a great time.
And then
I love that speed of just like walking around place to place. Like, there's something slower and like accessible to me about Tucson. I was always like on foot, walking around, just sort of happily discovering things all the time. And I think it's like such a perfect place to do that.
The pace is slower. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, in a good way. I feel like when you live somewhere like a big city, like LA, Chicago, New York, I'm sure, like, the pace is quicker. Mm-hmm. Things move quicker, but like, that kind of makes life move quicker. Like, even though like you get more done each day, it's like your week goes by faster, like, if you want to like enjoy life and like take in every moment, like, you kind of need to slow your pace down. Like, being somewhere where the pace is a little slower, you kind of can just sit outside and appreciate like a moment outside, versus, at least me, I'd be thinking like, oh, okay, I should probably get to doing something, I should probably be productive.
I agree. It was true. I mean, like, that time outside, I feel like I was, I would just distinctly remember having like this nice internal dialogue with like thinking about my grandma, and I don't know. It's just like it gets a little quieter to me when I go to Tucson, and I'm in those wide open spaces, and I have time. My brain thinks differently there. It's kind of like a little bit in a stress response around here, like, yeah, we've been talking a little bit about my road rage, things like that. Like, there's like a little.
Were we talking about your road rage?
We were talking about my road rage. Remember, I told you sometimes, like, when people do bad things and I just fantasize about driving into their car to like punish them. Remember that? Yeah.
Yeah, so like, someone will pull into you, pull in front of you or something, and it's like you have to slow down, but it's their fault. So if you don't slow down, you'll just crash into them. Right, and like my car, I'm ready for a new one. Your shiny new car, you would be mad if there were dents in it or scratches. Yeah, you're being awful reckless with that fancy car pulling out in front of me like that. But that's what I mean. It's just like, so you never get those feelings in Tucson. At the end, the last time I was living in Tucson, I didn't drive my car to work. I drove it when I had to go to the grocery store once or twice a week. I drove it if I wanted to go up to the mountains. Yeah, that's true. It being so small. Way different. And now, I drive 30 minutes to work, and I've gotten totally used to that. That's a short commute in LA. And it's pretty pain-free. But every once in a while, like the other day, literally a few days ago, somebody just like pulled out in front of me so recklessly, so fast at a stop sign. They were acting a fool. Uh-huh. And I just was like, I just want to drive this car.
right into there. It's like little bumper cars. There's a certain like stress that comes from the city and the pace and just hurling yourself down the highway 80 miles per hour in this little car.
You're in a sort of fight or flight response a lot of times in a car because it's very dangerous what's happening and your body knows it. And so
I feel that.
That's kind of what builds people to road rage so often versus like they wouldn't get that mad at the grocery store, but in a car, there's on top of it, it's like you're risking everyone's life, you know? Like that person pulling out in front of you is risking your life and their life, you know? I mean, we're all rolling the dice out there.
I know, it's freaky.
It is. A cool thing that happened the last day in Tucson, Hans, who's a wedding DJ, he's been on the show. You can check him out. Maybe episode 17. No, I don't know. He showed me his DJ Pro like software, and he has this new Mark DJ thing, basically for doing like live DJ sets. Because I've DJ'd before in Sayulita like twice, very casually, just pulling up things on Spotify, but it was so fucking fun. And like once I get this thing, I'm excited to play around with it. Maybe do a live DJ set. What are you looking at? Oh, the mailman is here. Oh, my DJ name's gonna be Boob Sweat. Boob Sweat.
Why does that resonate with you?
Because I just picture like you're dancing to funky music, boob sweat. You know, so it's a little sexy.
No, it's not.
It's a little boobs.
I can confirm that it's not. Boob sweat. The boobs are undercut by the sweating. No longer hot when they're sweating.
No, but boobs dripping with sweat, that's something sexy about it. And you're dancing.
Maybe boobs dripping with like steam after the steam shower.
Boob
sexy.
Steam.
Boobs dripping with sweat doesn't do it for me.
Well, feels right.
I mean, I guess if you're working out hard, your boobs are sweating. Maybe.
If you're at like a music festival and there's this kind of funky DJ called Boob Sweat, you're not going to go?
No.
Even if it's me?
If it's you. Yes, but only because I'm legally bound.
Because I got you by the ball and chain. Well, I feel good about Boob Sweat.
Wow. Okay. Well, then I'm not going to keep talking about my opinions about it.
No, tell me.
Nah,
tell me about it.
No.
Tell the world.
No, I'll save it. I rear end the next person on the road.
Yeah.
Boob Sweat!
It's a stupid fucking name. Well,
no.
Yep.
No, it's great.
So anyway, I'm excited for that. That's coming up.
Yeah, I'm excited for you to have that toy. That'll be fun.
Yeah. Yeah. And
it seemed really cool. I left during the lesson to go grab coffee and walk along the river trail, but you know, when I got back, you were really
grooving,
really doing shit.
Yeah. And then last episode or 2 episodes ago, we talked a little bit about my screenplay.
Yes. How are we doing on time, by the way?
It's for 08.
Okay. Gotta wrap this
Christine,
up.
we got to wrap this up. Some people have been reaching out asking, like, what's the manuscript about? So just to clue people in, it's about Nazis trying to kidnap Clark Gable during World War II in Hollywood. And it's based on a true story. Fleur was like, add that. Like, because I sent her like a log line. She's like, you know, okay, you wrote some shitty script that needs a lot of work, and you need a deck, you need a synopsis, you need a log line, you need a dick. She's from New Zealand.
Oh yeah, that was
She's
so
like,
funny.
do you have
We're
a dick?
What?
Do
you
I
need
have
a
a
dick.
what?
What?
Do you have a dick?
Deck.
Deck. Oh, a deck.
That was cute.
But yeah, I sent her this log line, like, you know, blah, 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 Nazis, Clark Gable. She's like, dude, based on true events. Because then it's like, you read this ridiculous concept, Nazis trying to kidnap Clark Gable during World War II, and like, it's like to appease Hitler because he's going to come and invade California, like, and it is largely based on true events. I've obviously inputted a decent amount of fiction, especially with my main character. He's not real, but like pretty much everything around him is real and really happened. It's pretty wild. So anyway, that's just the update on the Gable script.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah,
That's cool.
Thank you.
I think, I got Canva logged in on your account, and you can do like put everything into docs and then turn it into a presentation. So we should just keep
Yeah.
Work on your dick. I'm happy to help you with your dick.
Work that dick out. Yeah. Well, hey, you are my wife pretty soon. So, yeah.
Cool.
Well,
Sorry, I have to rush off, but
okay.
I have funds to raise.
It's kind of professional of you to be like, yeah, I got a heart out, actually.
I do have a heart out, and I've got to still prepare the gift and change my dress.
Okay. You got to leave at 4:30? Mm-hmm. All right. Then let's wrap this up. We did it again. No guest. I like these. No guest. I think we're going
Yeah.
to do more of these. No guests.
Are you okay with that?
Are you okay with that? If not, fuck off with that. But yeah,
We say
this
that
was
too
nice.
much.
What? Are you okay with
Tell
that or
them
fuck
yeah,
off?
Fuck off. Kick rocks.
Kick rock. Beat it.
Scram. Big
All
scram.
right. Anyway, thank you everybody for listening.
Have a great morning, evening, noon, or night.
Good night, everybody. Boom. Oh, the handshake.